Going live.
We are live.
We're live.
Oh yeah, we're in the Manimal zone. We got the Manimal, myself, in the girls' corner, Kerry Stellar. Ooh, we just finished some hard training today.
We did. We trained really
Got some
hard.
good training, and we are in the lovely Steamroller MMA.
Yeah, we did
are at
a
the
lot
lovely
of
Steamroller MMA over
we
here.
did a lot of MMA training too today.
Yeah,
We mix it up every time, Manimal training and steamroller MMA, and it's actually a really good combination. I happen to think, if you ask me.
We got a good workout in today. A lot of rounds in the pads.
Yeah.
Some flow sparring.
That's my next thing is we got to get me a
mouthpiece
guard so I can actually
There's-
spar
I would
and not
love-
worry about rolling any
Love
one.
to fucking punch you in the face, Kerry.
I'd take
I'm
it.
just kidding.
I'd love to take it. I'd love to
just
take
punch
you.
me. You know what
I'd
the
love to
problem?
take you, punch me in the face.
You know what the
Punch me in
problem?
the face again.
You know what the problem is? Most people have never got their
Got
ass
punched in the
kicked,
face?
and
Yeah.
that's why they act so cocky.
Oh, I love it.
And if you hear some of the things people
so now,
say,
I don't know if you know, I have gotten my ass kicked. I have, and it's really fucking, because I was like one of those girls that like, not that I was cocky, I was just like, I was really protective of my friends. So like, if my guy I'm not even kidding with you, but they're like, you were the only bitch to jump in. Only chick that would be like, fuck it, I'm in with you guys. Like, what girl jumps into a guy's fight? I did, and there was always like one chick that would like try to, no. But yeah, no, I got punched in the face in the middle of Manhattan for that. Some chick was like screaming at me, and I started yelling back at her, and her boyfriend just came up and cold cocked me right in my face, and I took it. I took it like an animal, and all my friends went after. It was great. It was a street. I was like, I'm like, really? And I got home, my whole inside of my cheek, inside of my cheek was all fucked up. But I took it like a fucking dude. I didn't even care.
You're gonna say you took it like a man?
Yeah, I'm like,
Isn't
unless you're hitting me like my mom, you don't fucking hit me. I'm sorry.
Isn't that inappropriate? Took it like a man? Because a lot of men are bitches now.
Okay, so I took it like a woman.
You took it like a woman. You know, the female lion does all the hunting.
Took it like a beast.
Like a beast.
I did. I took it like a beast. And no, I've been punched in the face plenty of times. I broke my nose sparring. It wasn't even like in a fight. I literally like
twice, straight out. Well, twice. See,
yeah.
Straight on.
No, mine was just got cracked in the middle of sparring. And when I got my nose beat, it still hurts on the bridge of my nose when my nose beats.
Oh, but that was just shoulder pressure.
No, it wasn't even. It was like a weird, like my face was.
You hit me with your collarbone.
Oh no, that was you. This was a whole different other thing. Yeah.
Oh, so we had a couple fights. We had UFC fights back in Vegas.
Yes.
I like them back in Vegas personally.
Vegas is good.
Vegas is good. You want to go main? I only watched a few fights.
I'll be honest with you. I told you could break that down because I watched Invicta on Thursday and I did not get to watch the fights on Saturday, and I'm going to watch them today. But it's okay sometimes.
It's all right. We'll do a short
life comes in the way. It was important that it's over.
You know what? Red pill people.
All weekend. I wonder why I was really tired. Like 4 different people I read. It was great. Great.
Okay, so Derek Brunson and Edmund Shabazian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I read how that went. But go on.
Yeah, they were hyping up.
Yeah.
Edmund Shabazian.
I heard Dana was kind of pissed that Derek Brunson. I like Derek Brunson. I always did. He looks like he's got a good personality. Talented.
You know what? Because he's kind of has the reputation now of being the gatekeeper of that division.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to be, even the kids I train, Zach and Dell, they call him Derek Bumpson, right? Because they're like, that's
you
like
get bumped up.
He's like a bum, like he's a throw me fight.
Bumpson, yeah.
So if you can't get past Brunson, then you're not a contender.
That sucks.
So he's a gatekeeper. That's the definition of a gatekeeper. But I do like Derek Brunson, and I'm going to tell you what, Shabazian came in totally underestimating Derek Brunson. The guy's only lost to guys in the top 5.
Wasn't he undefeated?
No,
Shabazian. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I felt like he was undefeated.
Super hyped up, right? And I guess Ronda Rousey's his manager. Be careful. Yeah.
No,
I'm serious. Ronda Rousey is Edmund Shabazian's manager.
Okay.
Because remember, she used to train with him when he was like a kid. He was on her one of her countdowns.
I just hope that she is a better manager than hers was. I
He
hope that
mismanaged the fuck out of
and
Ronda
you know what?
Rousey.
I do think that maybe she might. There might be something to be said for that, and because of her mismanagement, maybe she'll, step it up in a whole different manner. I hope so.
I hope so. I mean, I guess Derek Brunson is a good fight. You have to fight him.
Yeah.
If you want to move up in the rankings at all, right?
Yeah, if you want to move up the rankings,
You have to fight Derek Brunson. So that fight, listen, Derek Brunson came out. He was landing good shots. I'm just looking up the rest of that card. So he came out, landing good shots.
Yeah.
I mean, he really beat the shit out of him. At the end of the second round, it looked like Shabazian was out. He looked like he knocked him out. Then he got up, and then, to Herb Dean's credit, the second he got dropped again, he just stopped.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, the reffing's different in the States.
Very different. A lot of people were saying that too.
I think so. I mean, I think that they were letting the fights go a little bit in certain people's favor. My phone's not working out here. So the other fight that I saw that was good, my boy Randy Brown had a rough fight with Vicente Luque. Yeah. So Randy trains out in Long Island.
Yeah, I was going to say Vicente, a lot of people have fought him from around here. Vicente seems to be like they throw him at the New Yorkers a lot.
Is it? I mean, Vicente is tough. He's never been in a bad. I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad fight.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
I forget who it was that he fought, and one of my friends said he's going to win, and I'm like, oh, no, about that. He lost. I can't remember who it was.
Did he fight Mike Perry?
He's fought a lot of people.
I forget, but I remember I've never seen him in a bad fight. So in this fight with Randy Brown,
he's fought a lot of people,
I mean, Randy Brown's really good.
Yeah.
Really good range, and he has a great jab.
Yeah.
And Vicente Luque played the right strategy. He caught him with that lead leg low calf kick.
Yeah.
Early, and I mean, he really just wasn't able to get anything going after that. So it was unfortunate, and then he got caught with a knee to the face, which never feels good.
No.
So that was a rough one for Randy. I mean, it's tough. He's a New Yorker. I always pull for my New Yorkers.
Yeah, well,
he trains with my original crew.
With
the guys at Budokan. I do have a lot of fights back in the day.
I've met a lot of them over there.
So yes, that's a rough fight.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of their amateurs fight and stuff. They're nice to do over there.
Listen, he landed some good shots on Vicente Luque, but he just once he compromised his lead leg, it's hard to create any kind of pressure on a guy.
Yeah.
Like once the guy's lead legs hurt, it's hard to create pressure on him. Like you have to move forward to pressure him. Then it just winds up you getting pressured back, and you never want to just be getting pushed around out there.
No.
So even if you like to fight with your back to the cage, there's a strategy to that, like fighting with your back to the cage. And if you just get pushed up against the cage when you don't want to be there, you're essentially you're losing the fight. There's a lot of little things that happen in the fight. How you move guys around, that shows the direction of the fight. So that's why it was rough. Because you got caught up against the cage, then you can't use your range.
Yeah. No.
Your range is, now I stuffed you up.
Taken away,
And Vicente Luque is strong punching on the inside, caught with the knee. It's tough. And Randy, I think they got to the ground at one point. Randy Brown was looking for some stuff on the guard. I think he was looking for a triangle. He has a good guard game. And his instructor always had a very good guard also. My dude had a great triangle. So that fight was good, competitive. I thought Lando Venata Bobby Green was a good fight. And then Steamroller has a win over. He has a draw with Lando. He wants to rematch Lando to get that draw off. Yeah. Fucking draws.
Oh, maybe it's a lot of people.
Lando Venata too was for a lot of people. Oh yeah, they had set Steamroller up to lose that fight. They're shooting the shit. They set him up to lose that fight with Lando at Madison Square Garden. And he wound up, he almost finished Lando. So, that was a good fight.
I didn't catch those. I caught the UFC fights.
Oh,
which were really good. JoJo, Calderwood.
Damian Maia. Not Damian Maia.
Jennifer
Maia. I like Damian Maia.
It was in the first round. I read that. I read all about that. Bar in the first. Which, that means Joanne lost her title shot. She was going to get a title shot after that. So.
Yeah, so do you think Jennifer Maia gets the title shot?
Yeah,
it might be soon for her,
do I think either of them beats Valentina? No.
It might be too soon for any of them to fight.
I hate to say it. I'm sorry. It sounds rude, but
it might be too soon for any of them to fight for a title.
For Valentina, absolutely. Valentina's gonna have to. They're gonna have to figure something out.
What do you think she should do? Fight 2 people at a time?
But I think maybe she's fought Amanda Nunes at 135 and at 125. No, 135 twice.
135 twice.
Okay, so
what about if Valentina drops down to 15 and pulls that title? Fight
that would be a
Wayley?
lot of weight for her to cut. No, you don't think so? Well,
I seen her in person.
honestly, now that
seen her
you're
in
mentioning
person.
it,
I don't think she walks around in more than 132.
well, then you know what? Why not?
Because she
Why
doesn't
not go
have
down
to.
to 115? But
But-
like, to fight Bailey or have them do a super fight. Do it like a.
Can Waylay come up? Waylay's big. She looks jacked.
She looks like she could.
120?
Why not 115? I don't know. Why not 170? No, they could do
120.
120. Yeah.
Meet in the middle.
I
Split
feel
the
like I
difference.
don't think that would be a problem for either of
That'd
them.
be a great fucking
It would
fight.
be amazing.
That'd
And
be
why
a great
do it
fight.
at either weight class when it
Make
would
it a
be,
super fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be maybe a little harder for Valentina, and I think at the end of the day, you're having Wayley come up, so why not have them meet? That way, it's not as big of a weight cut for.
Not as big of a weight cut for one and not as much to come up for the other.
Yeah.
Make it meet at 120, 121.
Yeah.
And that'd be
Make
a
it
great
half
fight.
fight. Yeah,
That'd be a
totally.
great fight.
Make it a super fight. Honestly, they
There's
could
some-
do it. They don't even have to do it for either title. They could do it for make a female BMF. They could, really do it just for honor.
You want a female BMF belt.
Yeah.
You should.
Valentina, I think, is the baddest female fighter out there. I think, I think she's the baddest female out there. Honestly, I think she would. I mean, clearly she hasn't. They haven't had her win against Amanda Nunes, but
I thought she won both of them.
I think I was going to say the same thing. I think she goes up to 145. She beats anybody in that division too.
Yeah, or I mean, she's
She's a bad
is
bitch.
crazy. Well, think about it. She's given up massive weight to
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes, and I thought she won both those
I know.
fights.
I did too. It was, you know what? People have to understand. I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of favoritism going on in the UFC. They love Amanda Nunes. There's multiple reasons. Not that they don't like Valentina, but
I think Amanda Nunes also makes no waves.
no. She
Yeah.
just does whatever. She's like, all right, I'm just gonna rock.
That's
with
why
it.
they didn't like Cyborg, because Cyborg was accustomed
She
to
was-
certain things and a
Absolutely.
draw.
Absolutely.
And the
Same
UFC
thing
was
with,
like, no, go fuck yourself.
No, but you know what? And Valentina is a really good for them in that respect. You're having, that's an international champion. You know what I mean? So I think a BMF would be great for them. Because honestly, who else can you contend for that? Whaley's not there yet. Whaley is not there yet.
Who's not there, but is gangster Cynthia Cavallo. I love her. She's so gangster. But you know what I'm saying? Like gangster.
Honestly, she's 115. I think she went up to 125, didn't she?
Oh, did she?
I think so.
Maybe.
I think
you
her
might be
last
right.
fight was at
But I know
125.
she's fought at 15 before.
Yeah, she has. Well, that's where she
I
fought
like
forever.
Miss Jessie
She was
Jess.
at 125, 115 forever, and then I think she just went up to 125. So I like Cynthia, and I honestly think she would be a great fight for either Valentina or Whaley. I think she would use the fact that she's got such a great ground game to her advantage.
Who was the last
She
fight
could get, if she
against?
gets,
Was it
if
against
she could get
Jessica
either
Eye?
of them down to the ground,
Kerry Holt's fight against Jessica Eye, right? She won.
yeah, she beats a lot. She just has to go up there, but they're like,
I think Cynthia Cavallo has a very good record there.
she's one of my
But
favorites. I love her. She's got such a good personality. She's bad as shit.
I like her. She's
Yeah,
good.
I'm a fan.
Is she from the Diaz camp?
No. Yes. No. I think she was from Team Alpha Male originally.
Is she from? No, I forget where she's from.
Pretty sure she's from Team Alpha Male. Like, could be wrong. No, she is. She definitely is.
Yeah, from Alpha
Yeah.
Male, because I love her attitude.
Yeah, she's got a great. She's got that
She's so
badass.
gangster. Yeah,
She
she's.
says she's a shark in the mats. The
She
mats
says a
are
real
ocean, and
gangster.
she's a shark. Yeah.
That's all hits and grace.
Yeah, she's awesome. Who gives a fuck? She's awesome.
You ever see that was a great old documentary, Choke. It's a Gracie documentary. Chokes from 1995, and there was this thing called the Valley Tudo Championships in Japan.
That I heard.
So it was like 1995, and it was 3 fights in a night, no weight classes, and Hickson winds up winning it. But it's interesting. It's very entertaining. It shows Hickson's training. His training with Hoyler is interesting. They go like to the cold water. He does all that breathing. You know the yoga, breath of fire. Hickson was doing a lot of really simple things, like old school, but now we consider them very advanced when someone does it. But these ancient methods. If you want to show someone something new, I show them something really old.
Yeah.
And it looks new to them.
Yeah.
So
well,
Hickson was doing
there's
these,
something to be said for
all
that.
these breathing mechanics
Yeah.
that now I hear everyone talking about. Oh, breath work. You gotta be breathing.
Yeah.
First of all, if you don't do breath work in a fight, you can't do breath work.
No.
If you can't do it when the pressure's on, it's all fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I hear a lot of
you have to
people
be
in
able
there.
to-
If you're
Get your
under
composure.
pressure and you're unable to perform your technique,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to refine your technique.
Yeah.
It's easy to breathe nice and easy in a dark
Breathing is
room,
super
patchouli
important.
incense.
Breathing is super important. I remember when I did a stress test, and it was like halfway through it, and the lady looks at me and she goes, "Do you do any kind of like athletic training?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I hit parts here and there. It's far, like once or twice a week." And she looks at me and she goes, "Can you step it up?" She's like, "You're keeping your heart rate." I was
too
holding
low.
my pace. And she's like, no. And I started running. She goes, just walk faster, walk harder.
But think about this.
I was holding my heart rate.
How tired do you get in jiu-jitsu?
Now
You
it's a
get
whole
gas
different ballgame.
crazy
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're like
I'm going full force. And it's a different
holding
strength.
your breath.
It's a very different. That's
A lot of times you hold your breath. I'm
I
like,
have
yo,
to
would you
concentrate
breathe?
on that. I have to
I'm like, would you
concentrate.
breathe?
Yeah. I have to
It's funny.
concentrate on that.
Like people tell me that all the time. They're like, why is he telling his fighter to breathe? Shouldn't he know that?
It's
I'm like, let me punch you in the face 50 times right now. And you tell me how you feel.
exactly.
Like, it's different.
Yeah, no,
And
it
the
is.
pressure, sometimes you have to tell your guy, yo, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Relax your shit. Like,
That
one-
was actually when.
there's simple things that sometimes your body's like
No, that's actually
just fighting
really,
against
really,
you.
really,
Your
really
guy's like,
important.
take a breath.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be reminded. It sounds so
Yeah.
simple.
No, Matt was explaining that when we were doing drill set one day, and
Yeah.
to just
Take a
breathe in
breath.
between before you.
Relax
Yeah,
your
before
shoulder.
you go for the
Like
nap.
when you
Yeah.
start getting crazy tense, you
Mhm.
start missing everything. And it takes a lot of energy because then you're not breathing. That's why I suck at swimming. My
Yeah.
breathing's not great.
I'm getting
Right,
that. I mean,
so-
but listen, you're gonna get better. Just like me with
Practice.
rolling, I'm starting to get like not as crazy.
Oh, you
Not as
never go
wild.
full retard.
I know, and we hate to use that word.
Never
It's
go
true.
full retard.
Yeah.
It's cool. I used to work at a mental hospital. And it's true. There's a certain,
It
you
is
want
what
to call
is.
it crazy strength? I don't know. But there's like,
It is. It's a different, bizarre,
different.
weird, and a lot of it's funny because it comes from very unassuming people. And it's true. My niece is like a 10-year-old, and she has that same strength. And I was using.
are you flexing?
No,
Are you trying to flex?
not even. Look, not even. Look at how relaxed my arms are. Not even. My arms are relaxing. It's because we train all morning.
We did train hard.
That's the only reason why. No, I'm just relaxed and I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm ready for a fucking nap.
I'm
I'm
proud of
tired as shit
I'm
today.
proud of me.
Yo, I'm so beat. That was hard training
We
today.
didn't do
It's
any
hot.
jiu-jitsu after that, so tomorrow. Wednesday.
Wednesday will be jiu-jitsu.
Um,
There was some good jiu-jitsu. Oh, the arm bar
Mhm.
from Maya, that was good. We got good
I feel
fights
like
this
I'm so
weekend. Oh, we got
tired.
big one this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Weidman.
Weidman's fighting.
Yeah, so-
I'm excited about that. It's going to be a good night.
I'm pretty.
We should do something for that.
We should do something for that. Yeah.
Right,
Fucking
then.
Weidman makes
Is it a pay-per-view?
hard tap over here.
I know.
Oh, we got local fighters too. Charlie Campbell, one of my
Is it a
training
pay-per-view or
partners.
no?
I don't
No,
think
it's a
so.
fight night. It's-
One of my training partners, Charlie Campbell, fighting Bellator.
Awesome.
So that's
Oh,
good. First fight in
is that this
Bellator.
weekend?
That's Friday.
Okay.
So Friday, Bellator fights.
Okay.
The headline fight's really good. Michael
Awesome.
Chandler, Brent Henderson.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. Their first fight was epic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is 3 rounds or 5 rounds. See, I almost like that Bellator doesn't make a 5-round fight unless it's a title fight.
Yeah.
Like if it's the main event,
Yeah. It's
And it's not a title,
Yeah, they make it
it's 3 rounds.
Yep. It's true.
It's like this is a
True.
3-round fight.
Yep. It's true.
If it's a title fight, then it's 5 rounds. If it's not a title fight, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like. It doesn't always have to be. I
Matt
understand.
Mitrione's fighting Timothy Johnson. That'll be Matt Mitrione.
I love Matt
He's
Mitrione.
gonna take that.
Matt Mitrione is really deceptively good, and he always reminds me of a really big Chris Pratt.
Mhm. Oh
If you
yeah,
put Chris
yeah,
Pratt on,
he
like,
does
good-
look like. I mean, Chris Pratt's a big fan of MMA.
He is a big fan of
Yeah,
MMA, which I like to
Miles
see.
Jury. I can't pronounce Georgie.
Miles
whatever
Jury's
his
a
name is.
veteran.
Yep, that'll be a fun fight to watch. And then I can't pronounce this guy's Curtis. Oh, Curtis Millender, and I can't pronounce that guy's name.
Saba Hamasi.
Something.
Yeah.
And then the prelims, which I was trying to look up the other day.
Charlie's on the prelims. I think
Derek Campos and Adam Borix. That's who I
that's a
made.
good fight.
That's who I made cry was Adam Borix. It was after his fight at he was at MSG when he fought. And
Aaron Pico. Yeah.
and I made him cry. But it was like
Yo, that guy cuts
The
a
Edge of
lot of weight
Honor.
too because I
That's
was
the Edge of
suffering
Honor
and I
for me.
looked over at him
Yeah.
and he was suffering, cutting, and he looked massive.
Oh, AJ.
Agazarm, that's the
his
guy I
fighting.
wanted
Yeah,
to fight.
Chris. I can't
Who's he
pronounce his
fighting?
Chris
Lencioni?
Yeah.
Chris Lencioni, yeah. So
Yeah.
they have a rivalry from a jiu-jitsu background.
Uh-huh.
I think I match up well,
This is a
really, with either guy. I like
undercard stack.
the undercard side. I really
Yeah.
would like a fight with AJ. Let's see how this fight goes.
Yeah.
I'm patient.
Yeah.
I don't have to fight super frequently. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like I fought yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel like I just fought.
I would agree.
See?
Chris Edwards.
Who Odin's watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I feel ready to go.
Yeah,
Mentally, not
Charlie's fighting.
Physically, no.
Yeah.
Physically, I need 8 weeks. So it's okay. I couldn't have took that fight now anyway. But let's see how AJ does in that fight.
Yeah.
And,
I like the Manimal.
It's a lot of Valerie Laredo they have fighting on that. She's always
yeah.
she's a good draw
she's
for
good.
that.
She had great
She's a
stand-up.
good draw. She's good looking. They love her. I've interviewed her. She's actually very nice. She does a great interview.
yeah,
We
she's
got
good
the
looking.
bulldozer, Valerie Loretta. She shows well.
She's good looking.
She
She
shows well. She has good
really,
karate
she
technique
is.
too.
Yeah, she does. She has a
She
different
has
style.
different
and that's why
style. She
comes
has that
in there.
karate style.
Yep.
And they're trying to build her up the right way.
Yep.
They're trying
And then-
to do the right thing. You know how UFC kind of didn't like to
I
build
know.
up Paige Van
I know.
Zandt? She has the
She's
karate
gonna have
background.
that belt, probably.
Valerie
Yeah.
Loretta, she
money
can,
on it.
they'll build her up
Yeah.
the right way. Oh, that Paige ends up in
Yeah.
Bellator?
And then I think
Maybe it's just the only problem is unless Bellator gets a big deal
They'll
with
get her.
Showtime or something, they just don't have
yeah,
the roster.
That's true. That's true for her right now.
Yeah, that's the only
Well,
problem.
she was a good one.
They don't have the roster or the money.
I think she should. I don't know. Catchphrase maybe. Who knows? But then you have
It's tough. You got
over
because
the weekend on Thursday. No, during the week, Thursday. Erin Blanchfield fought. I can't remember the girl's name off the top of my head. And it was the first round. It was pretty, in the beginning, back and forth, and then Erin towards the end of the round took her down, and it was really funny because she was not looking for a submission. She was just looking for position to beat the shit out of this girl.
yeah, she had mount.
Was great. Maybe she took a couple shots, but she didn't really look like she walked out of there in too bad shape. And she's a 125er. She's probably, and they said she is probably one of their most well-rounded fighter that they have right now.
But she has a great confidence.
On the entire roster. She won Eddie Bravo's Invitational 2 years ago. She's like 21, so she's like
young.
18 or something.
Yeah.
No, maybe even younger.
At
She was a
19,
kid.
she won it. Yeah,
She was a kid when she won it. So
I've seen her
she's-
train in the city. a few
and her
times.
hands are pretty good now. So she's like, she's getting extremely ready. I think that she's going to soon get signed by the UFC. They'd be foolish not to take her on. At least give her some, reel her in slow. Give her some, decent fights to warm her up.
She's young. Give
Yeah.
they can build her up.
Yeah.
Because
She's how much longer is she going to be Invicta unless they have a fight for the title? That's the only thing that I could see next to her is they have to. I mean, she's also fought for CFFC. She's fought outside of there.
She rode a very high mount
Yeah.
under the girl's armpits. She gave that girl a lot of trouble from the mount and was just banging it.
She
shit out of her. I
was
seen that.
not looking to submit her whatsoever. She just
She just
wanted
beat the shit out of her,
she
yeah.
wanted to show that she has ground and pound and she has good hands because people sleep on that with her. People they think she's like, her high kick is also her one move. I'm like, she's been first off, I know the promotion that she fought for as an amateur. I saw her last amateur fight. And I sat down with the owner of it, and he's like, let me tell you about Erin Blanchfield. He's like, as an amateur, when she fought Destiny Quinones, they were amateurs. I think Erin was maybe 16. She was a kid. She was really young. And Destiny was just like 2 years older, and they were like, she's like, is this a worth it fight? And he's like, no, she's the real deal. She pissed.
Yeah.
And then she fought her again, and that was her last amateur fight, and submitted her. But they said she was the real deal from when she first started. She just came out an animal.
I mean, I seen her
cannot wait to
spar.
see her evolution.
I saw her spar in the gym
Yeah.
with a good or super good fighter, and her ground game is exceptionally good.
You know who's going to be a fun come up to watch too? Jennifer Dublin. You know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good friends with her.
That's in one championship she fights, right?
No, she fights. She
Oh,
just got
she
signed
fought
to
in
Invicta. She
Invicta.
fought for Bellator.
I'm thinking of Killer Big.
Yeah, no, that's two different
Not
people.
two
But
different,
she fought for Bellator. She
I know who you're talking about.
boxed. She's got Jennifer is super talented, and she's a 120. I think she fights at 125. I could be wrong. She just signed with Invicta, so she should have her first fight soon with them. But she won. She had a killer fight at Bellator, and I think it was at Nassau Coliseum. I took a really good picture of her and Henzo. She puts it up all the time. It was the best picture I think I ever took in my life, but it was of her and Henzo. Right after a fight, he was taking the selfie with her, and I snapped the whole thing. It was so cute.
Henzo's great. He's getting a lot of shit.
Actually,
lately.
Caitlin cornered her.
Henzo's getting a lot of shit lately. But,
for what?
You didn't see. I'll tell you off camera. I don't want to.
Listen, first of all, I'm going to go with this, is that people are getting shit for the stupidest things. The stupidest things. Now, mind you, and this is the only thing that I'm going to say conspiracy-wise, this whole thing, and I've done very well not even, like, bringing it up. People are concerned with the stupidest shit, but yet they aren't flipping out about the pedophilia problem, and they're flipping over the dumbest stuff. Kids are what someone the other day goes, oh, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, but what do you think about pedophiles? I'm like, how about child lives matter? Let's just, children's lives matter, and that's it. Let's call it a fucking day, because they're our future. Doesn't matter what race it is. Doesn't matter what religion they are. Children, if we can't protect them, what the fuck are we doing?
And I can never get behind this bullshit that they're trying to say.
Normalize
it. The kid enjoys it. It doesn't fucking matter.
A kid doesn't have, it's a sexual orientation, not for a child.
No.
Not for a child.
Before puberty, just fucking stop. Like,
even
it's disgusting.
Even 18, you're fucking skating the fucked up. I can have you talk to Kevin Ross, who was assaulted by his stepmom. I think he was 14 years old, and he will tell you it was the worst experience he's ever had. And
I don't care what a kid says.
When he told his friends, they were all like, "Oh, that's like the dream," and he's like, he couldn't understand how people didn't
gross.
see. He's like, "Dude, she
that
predatorialized me. That was my stepmom." He's like, "I'm supposed to trust her."
That will always traumatize you. It doesn't fucking matter what you say. It always will.
He's such a good dude that it's like hearing that made my stomach turn. We're gonna do an interview about it.
I was reading this book, Full Service. Mm-hmm. It's about a guy who, like, in Hollywood, like, hooked up everyone to get, like, laid.
What's his name?
I forget his fucking name. But
he got caught, right?
No. He in the book, he doesn't say he hooked anyone up with young kids. But this is early Hollywood. It's like the 1940s.
Did he get arrested and turn on everybody? In the end, he flipped on everybody? So.
But his earliest encounter, and he tries to normalize it, he was molested by, like, some 40-year-old dude.
Was it
like 7. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was molested by, like, some 40-year-old dude. He was like 7, and he was like, "Oh, it was great." And I'm like, don't fucking normalize it. I was like, that's what pedophiles love. A guy who's like, "Oh no, it was good." I'm like, no, that shit fucked you up. Like, don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, no, it's a lie, and that might
don't
be
lie to
the
yourself.
book that when Harvey Weinstein was arraigned, Harvey Weinstein had a book, and he was holding it upside down. He had 2, and he was holding the one upside down, and everybody's like, "What fucking book is that?" And when you zoom in, it's a biography of a predator, like big wig in Hollywood. And when he got arrested, he was the only one. He was like the patsy. He was the only one that got in trouble for it. So when he got arrested, he sung and turned on everyone. So when Harvey Weinstein got arrested, he held that book upside down with this nasty shit-eating grin, like, "Y'all think I'm the only one that's going down?
You know what's funny? I'll tell you this.
And look at what's happened since then."
Harvey Weinstein probably felt like
sick fuck.
He's a sick fuck, but he probably felt like, you guys are railroading me. At least these girls were of age. You other motherfuckers are even worse.
That's exactly what he did. That's how they got. Everyone they're getting is all from him.
Because he probably was like, "You guys are child fuckers." He's like, like, "I'm skeezy,
but y'all are eating kids. I'm not fucking." No,
and you're gonna make me like I'm the." And they all turn on him.
Oh yeah.
But they're all.
Well, that's like I put up an article and people were like, "That's ridiculous," and it was absolutely true. If you listen to or read the interrogation, I would call it, actually, it was really wild, of Virginia Roberts, one of Epstein's victims. Her married last name is Gopher or something like that. Her deposition, they literally, the FBI, tried to get her to say Donald Trump was a part of it for half an hour. They grilled her about Donald Trump, and she was like, he was never. And they're like, "Well, why did Jeffrey Epstein say that they were really good friends?" She's like, "That's literally all he told me, is that they were really good friends. That's it. That's it." She's like, "I didn't see him there." She was adamant about it, and this was twice. When she was younger, she was grilled about it, and she was grilled about it after he got arrested the second time. He was in jail already for this shit. So this is just disgusting that art.
Kerry.
Sorry. And then they gone wild.
Yeah, right.
MMA got
It's
wild.
rare when I have to bring it back.
It's Monday.
The only thing I will say about Donald Trump is he was a Madison Square Garden for the BNF belt.
Oh.
Which is like, no presidents really went to see.
You know,
And remember, he's been big in the fight community.
MMA fights.
Well,
wait, 4 UFC fights. You can see pictures of him and Melania sitting front row at UFC at his casino 4 times.
In the early days of MMA, when Zuffa first bought the UFC, no one wanted to show it.
Yep.
And I remember going to
he was the only one.
See Sarah fight at UFC 30 when they first bought it.
Mm-hmm.
So for Shoni Carter, but that fight was a great jiu-jitsu fight. Whatever. Matt was like 10 seconds from winning that fight, but whatever. It went the way it went, and he wanted to be champ, so it had to go that way. But his jiu-jitsu in that fight was fire. I gotta send you that fight. But his jiu-jitsu was like Plata trying.
Yeah.
He was playing jiu-jitsu out
Definitely send me that fight.
Right, but so that was at Taj Mahal.
Yes.
So that was at Trump Taj Mahal, and that was like the first one. And I remember them doing it in Atlantic City a few times. So it would be either AC or you'd have to go to Vegas.
So this is what happened. When they originally were doing them in AC, before it was sold to the Fertitta brothers and Dana White got involved, it was super barbaric, and it was when boxing took a big lull for a while. So Donald Trump was talking to one of his guys that heads their entertainment department and said, "Listen, we have to kind of revamp this. We got to get something else that's going to fill these seats. What do you think?" And the guy said, "Do you remember the UFC?" And he said, "Yeah." And he goes, "The Fertitta brothers bought it, and they got Dana White that's running it." And he goes, "Tell them to come in."
And they cleaned it up.
Came in. They then had the ABC commission do the rules. So they had it, they had it regulated. Donald Trump, said, tell me your business plan. If you can get this place packed out, we'll definitely do another show. They had the first 3 sold out, and then he got them their business deals in Vegas. So I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't like him, and I will literally debate anybody on this that the only reason why the UFC is where it is because of Donald Trump. If he did not allow them to come into his casino when they first got bought by the Fertitta brothers, they would have never been allowed in anybody else's arena. They were not allowed.
Especially on the East Coast.
No, they weren't allowing it anywhere because it was so barbaric. People were getting hurt. They didn't want it. And he's the only one that took a chance on them.
And also, it was illegal in New York forever, too, because they had a fight in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that one. It was like Oleg Tara and what are those, kids' jackets?
Love it.
And the boys were little. Oh, that's so cute.
That's awesome.
Just so funny.
But no, I'll debate anybody on that. Because it is a fact.
But you're right. So I remember the first UFC when the Fertitta brothers bought it was at Trump Taj Mahal.
He sat front row for those first 3. And then when he got them their business deal in Vegas, he sat front row for those 2. And I think it was cool. 3. So that lineage directly goes back to him. Now, mind you, also, in the New Jersey Mixed Martial Arts National Hall of Fame, Donald Trump is in there for a visionary because of what he did for boxing and for MMA. He's a visionary in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame in Jersey.
Listen, I'm not trying to be super pro-Trump.
Neither am I, but this is actual factual history. It's not pro-Trump, it's facts.
I want to talk about Mike Tyson for a second. So, okay. I do like that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. are fighting again. I like it because, first of all, listen.
I'll tell you.
As a guy who's fighting at an older age, if you get matched up with the right opponent, it's good. Yeah, it's good for you.
To watch 2 seasoned fighters, you're going to watch something really spectacular, in my personal opinion.
And how about this? They call it an exhibition match. Let me tell you what I don't like. You got fucking 2 YouTubers in a Logan Paul or a Jake Paul fighting another YouTuber, and they call this a pro fight. You got 2 former heavyweight champs fighting each other at a little older age in their, a comeback fight for both. And they call it an exhibition. They could easily have called that another pro fight. They both have fought at heavyweight, right? Yep. They both have been champions. They're both close in age.
Yeah, why
not? You could easily call that a pro fight. Exactly. They're just 2 older dudes.
It's stupid not to.
And
they got cleared.
And they decided.
They both got cleared for it. And that's the difference. When you clear 2 people, why not at that point? If you're clearing them to do something,
But they decided not to make it a pro fight. They're going to call it an exhibition, which is fine. But you got these YouTubers calling their fights pro fights. Go fuck themselves. And people get upset at me when I call them out. And I'm like, that's like this, it's just bullshit. It's a celebrity fight.
Yeah.
Like you have real boxers that are calling it as an exhibition match.
You want to know what
you can get paid for it. You can get paid for it. It's a celebrity boxing match.
When they called Floyd Mayweather's MMA fights, the one he had for
Cody.
Hey Cody, didn't Mayweather fight for?
Oh yeah, Cody.
Didn't Mayweather fight for Risen or one? He had a fight with Risen, right?
Risen, yeah.
They called that a modified MMA. No, it was not a modified anything. It was boxing with a few fucking MMA punches that were allowed in it, and that's it. No elbows, no kicks. Had it been, that fight would have gone extremely different. The same thing with Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. If that was a kickboxing match of any kind with modified rules, Mayweather he would have gotten fucked up royally.
I think boxing is one of the hardest
sports. And there's a reason why they do that.
I think boxing is one of the hardest sports because it has so few techniques.
Yeah.
Only 4 punches. Jab, cross,
do you want to know what my thing is?
So you have to be perfect at those. Mm-hmm. So the boxer, in his own realm, of course he should win.
Yeah, but you're going to do the same thing if he goes into an MMA fight or a kickboxing fight in their realm. They should be able to win.
Yeah, exactly. And usually, even in MMA sparring, a lot of times an MMA fighter, because he comes out the gate a little faster, can win a round or two early. Mm-hmm. Once the boxer picks up his timing, then he starts fucking him up. Yeah. And that's like what happened with Mayweather and McGregor. He let McGregor kind of like do
some. He could have knocked him out.
He's not really a knockout fighter.
No, but I think he could have.
He's not that kind of fighter.
Well, my dad said he doesn't win fights by
He might break his hand.
The first thing he said to my stepmom when people were betting against betting against Mayweather, they were thinking that Conor McGregor was going to win, and I'm like, dude, these are paper fans. I'm telling you right now, he's in a boxing fight. He is not a snowball chase in hell against Mayweather. You're talking about a extremely seasoned boxer that's what he does.
That's it.
Conor McGregor just was training boxing for that fight. You can't. Just like he couldn't brush up his jiu-jitsu enough to fight fucking Khabib and get to the ground with him. Oh, he's been training his jiu-jitsu for a couple. Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Dude, get off the paper fan boat and start learning a little bit. Get in a gym and then talk. Really, people need to train. If they're going to talk shit, they should really get in and train. I'm sorry, they're allowed, but they should. They should. Everybody should.
I think everyone should train. Anyway.
It's imperative.
I think everyone should train.
You learn who you are as a human being. Fight or flight. If you're a person that's going to run, if you're a person that's going to take it head on, you learn if you can manage, if you can there's so much.
Where your boundaries are, and then you can push them.
Yeah.
Right? You can be a bitch and then push that barrier of bitchness.
Yeah.
Be a little less of a bitch.
You can strengths and weaknesses. You can really there's something huge to be said for that. That can actually help you in your professional life.
I mean, I think fighting is a microcosm of the macrocosm that is life. Mm-hmm. Right? Misdirection. Perseverance,
art,
discipline. There's a lot that goes into it.
Discipline is huge, and that's a huge thing too, especially for young people. It's imperative. I said, listen, you have a lot of young people running around right now everywhere that are so undisciplined, and I don't even necessarily think it's the parents' fault because they work up until this year. You had literally maybe one parent home for a little bit. And the rest, it's hard. It's really hard. So who is raising your children? If you're not raising them, somebody else is, and they're not doing a great job at it, clearly. Because if these kids are running around the way they are, and they're all so disrespectful. I mean, I watch kids, the way they talk to their parents. I'm like, how do you know this? She's like, listen. I'm like, what is school teaching that your kid is not listening to you at home whatsoever?
This happens a lot.
So many people. So what are they teaching their kids? Because they're the ones that are it's not a babysitter, but you are essentially raising someone's kid. What are you doing?
Yeah, but I think you can't.
They're with them half the fucking day.
Yeah, but they I see it from my wife's perspective, right? They castrate you. They make it so you can't really.
And that's a problem too. And I said that.
And
you can't the punishment. You
there's
can't.
Participation medals for everything.
Yes, and the parents will go in and fight if you give them detention. Not my Johnny. No, listen. And that's our generation that fucked up really big time. Mine, and actually I wouldn't even say yours, from 40 and older, screwed up big time. I don't know if they tried to reinvent the wheel.
I also have to think about this, Carrie. I have to think about this also. Hold on. Historically, whenever, as a student of history,
I know.
Whenever I study history, I'm going to tell you what I find. every single generation says the same thing about the preceding one. So I don't know. So then it always makes me question, is that just a fallacy of being human and aging, that I always think that the generation preceding me is softer? I do believe that. And I think that martial arts and discipline is super important.
Absolutely.
And now I would point
to
merit-based is very important. And now I think about it that there's like less sports now.
There's nothing merit-based.
So sports is important. I know people think they're not important, but sports are important because they teach you how to win and lose.
Kids out of shape everywhere. How to lose gracefully.
How to be humble in victory and graceful in defeat. It teaches you life lessons, right? You can't always win. How to work with a team. So there's a lot of life lessons that come with sports.
Being coachable.
These things are very important.
And they carry on at home. And they do. And your professional life.
So without this, I think we are doing a disservice.
Big time.
What does Cody say? How's this for discipline? Today is day 18 of my challenge for every day for 100 days. I mean, if you like to run, Cody, that's great. So just sticking to something, Cody, is really important as far as discipline goes.
Absolutely.
For me, I need to get myself back in shit too. You've been very disciplined, Kelly, the last few months with your lifting and eating. I've been disciplined with my eating.
Well, this is the thing. I wasn't for so long, but it was because it wasn't something I was interested in whatsoever. Like now I'm more interested. If they would have let me and they did when I was in high school. I actually had I got to pick certain teachers, and then I actually even got to pick my curriculum because I didn't do great in math whatsoever. They said this is going to make you not be able to graduate. That's how bad I was. You're not going to be able to graduate high school because of it. So what they did was they said you can't get the Regents diploma, we're going to let you pick to science and something. So I was like science and art. I love science. I loved art. Did great. Graduated high school. My best classes were English, science, art, gym.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you something funny.
Did fucking great in gym. Showed up all the time. I was there every day.
Carrie, you want to hear something funny? Yeah. I failed gym class.
Well, no, you said
every year.
You
for
said
4 years, I was fat. And they told me, Cody, how about this? Listen. So I went to Brooklyn Tech, and they had a requirement for everything at Brooklyn Tech. It's a specialized high school. To pass gym, you had to run a mile in like 8 minutes and 30 seconds, which now that I think about it now is I can do it easy.
Yeah. Even
half-assing it. But I used to be 265 pounds. And I remember telling them, you go fuck yourself. I was like, I'm not running unless something's chasing me. And even then, I'm probably not running.
Yeah, I didn't like running a mile.
So I didn't like running a mile. And I remember failing gym class every year. And then I took it in night school. Mm-hmm. In night school, they just passed you if you showed up. So I just did it that way. And now I'm a freaking professional athlete at like 40. And I'm thinking to myself, I failed gym class. But it's interesting.
See, now
I'm the non-professional athlete.
What's funny for me is when I was younger, my best
Cody's
sport,
loving talking to himself over here. Wild Manimal, no way not in the cheetah print.
Out of high school was when I wasn't in high school was in soccer.
Let's go, Cody.
With soccer, I did great in. But when I got into high school and did sports in high school, my problem is I wanted to do, like I did cheerleading, I did gymnastics, I did, you name it, but I didn't want to practice. I was like, fuck it, I don't have to. I felt like I didn't have to. Actually, first off, I probably didn't. I was in great shape. I didn't need to. I was like always in just great shape. One, in gym, I did weight training and we had a pool. So I did weight training, swimming. Everybody was like, oh, all the girls were doing volleyball. I'm like, fuck that shit. I don't want to do that. I wanted to stay in shape. So I did, and it worked out really great for me. But now I'm so disciplined, and back then I wasn't. My other problem in my 20s is I was too busy getting fucked up. So instead of being disciplined and training, and I could have been really great at it, I mean, not that I still can't, but, you miss a little bit of a
Carrie, I have to wrap this up soon.
That's fine.
I might have to.
That's fine. I gotta go.
Let's see. Shit. My manager sent me a text.
All right, so let's wrap it up.
I don't know. I want to get your opinion after. No, okay, we have more stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Cody, if you ever want to get on the Manimal Zone, come by.
You should come out here. But Cody's in the city, I think, or Jersey. I'm not sure.
Cody, we can bring the setup to you. This is just on the laptop, the camera, and we bring the mics. I'm actually going to order. Cody, you want to roll? Yeah, I know he's been running. Cody, do you train? We'll get some shit in. Yeah, I'd love to strangle Cody. Yeah. That'd be great. All right, guys. Actually, that was 45 minutes.
We did it.
Yeah. Okay. Good job. All right. We are
Great
now
training day,
exiting
guys. Have a great
the
Monday.
animal zone.
Enjoy it.